you know, I think and you obviously know this stuff, but there's so many correlations between jiu-jitsu and like faith. And my initial goal with the gym, and it still is my goal, but was literally just to use the gym, like to love people well and just share the gospel with them.
Yeah.
God has done so much awesome work in my life and, healed me from so much baggage. And jiu-jitsu has been a massive portion of that too. And kind of the confidence I have and, who I am now.
My name is Derek Hines, and I'm the managing partner here at Gaddis Premier Wealth Advisors. And I am happy to have Kayl Bryant, the Kayl Bryant, with me today. Yeah, man, there's a couple Kayl Bryants in town, right?
Myself and one other guy.
Yeah.
I don't know the other guy.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you joining us.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tell me a little about what you do.
So I'm a father, husband, not really in that order. I don't know. But I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. We own a gym here in town. And so I've got a pretty crazy story, but went from multiple different career fields to Jiu-Jitsu. So it's been pretty interesting along the way.
Yeah.
We might get into that. But we run Empire Jiu-Jitsu.
Cool. Well, I guess we're going to get into it now. So you said multiple. I know you were an architect or an engineer. So what's the multiple? Like, what were you before that?
Yeah. So, when I graduated high school, I was always, my mom was in the medical field. And so I was always kind of pushed into medical.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to go and be a doctor. Like, that's what's going to define me, being a doctor. And so I was in school, decided, I really don't like this much, but I was the senior at Southeastern here in town before I decided like I didn't really want to do it.
That's a great time to think about changing, right?
And so I didn't really know what else to do. So I was like, well, I'll just finish out my degree.
Yeah, that's smart.
And so it actually wasn't smart. I'll tell you why. But I finished out my degree in biology and chemistry. And then I was just kind of in limbo after that. I didn't really know what to do. And so I applied for some jobs, things didn't work out, and then, worked for about a year and a half, actually 2 years, and then decided to go to engineering school.
Yeah.
So my first career path was, and I would say is basically career path because, I put in 4 hours of my life.
Yeah. 4 years. Yeah.
Life. But then I went into engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And so did that, came here, started working, hated my job.
Yeah.
Not that the job was bad. I just didn't really enjoy the work.
Mm-hmm.
I was working 70-hour weeks pretty consistently.
Yeah.
And, you and I happened basically, and you kind of gave me that fire to open.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said it wasn't smart to finish the first degree. Why not?
Because it completely ruined my ability to get grants. And so I already had a degree. And so whenever I decided to go back to engineering school, I already had a degree. So any grants that I applied for, I was immediately denied.
Yeah.
Because I already had a degree. So why would they give me grants to do that?
Yeah.
I had to pay for everything out of pocket.
Yeah.
Sucks. I got some scholarships, but yeah.
Yeah. And where'd you get your engineering degree from?
OU.
Yeah. I was afraid of that.
I know. To be fair, the more time I spent at OU, the less of an OU fan I became.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the truth.
Seriously, though, I was a diehard OU fan before. Argue, with everybody.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind OU people.
I just think there was so much arrogance around, the campus that it was like I just got turned off by it.
Yeah.
So, kind of is what it is.
Yeah. So husband, father, jiu-jitsu coach.
Yeah. Obviously not in that order. If I were to put it in a sequential order, I would say Christian.
Oh, yeah.
Father.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu coach, all those things. But yeah, usually being a father takes up the majority of everything.
Yeah.
First to the list.
So how old are your kids?
I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they are heathens.
That's not completely true.
Nah, dude, most sinful kids. You don't realize the broken condition of man.
True.
It's exactly true.
Yeah, kids are crazy.
Oh, dude, always fight.
Yeah. Did I tell you about Jesse?
I don't know which one.
Jesse broke his foot. Well, yeah, so he had a table that fell on his foot, and we thought it was broken, but then so we got x-rays at the urgent care, which that's just a bad idea. They didn't do a perfectly good job, but they found a chip on his toe, but his toe doesn't even hurt. Yeah. And so we take him to our primary care doctor, and he's got his crutches, and the doctor's not even out of the office yet. And he's like, "Hey, mommy, check this out. I'm a flying eagle." And he holds his crutches out, and he loses his balance and goes face first into the door jamb. And the doctor turns back around, and she's like, "Jesse, how about we don't do that?"
The doctor said that?
Yeah, the doctor said that.
So annoying.
It's just kids are crazy.
Yeah. And it was Timothy that had the glass like shattered on this.
No, that was Jesse. No, Jesse's our frequent flyer in the emergency room.
Goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, he split open his lip. He's broken his wrist or his arm.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, he goes 90 to nothing.
Yeah. I'd rather have a kid that goes 90 to nothing than this.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, so what are some of the most interesting things you've learned about being a father or learned from being a father?
I mean, I don't know if I'd classify it as interesting, but just, dying to yourself, basically. Yeah. Patience, selflessness, like so many different things.
Yeah.
It's so hard, but it's so rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, it's a good spiritual principle. We live on a farm, so life requires death. I make this joke, like, our children, they suck the lives out of us. So for them to live, like, we have to die to some degree. And that's multifaceted. Most of it is just our ego or our desires, but it is also rewarding at the same time.
Yeah. And I think kids is so hard because like you see your inadequacies coming out in your kids.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The things you work really hard to not do.
Which as believers, we would call that sin.
Yeah.
But like I see my sin come out, and that's why me and my youngest clash so hard.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, whereas me and my oldest, he's so much like my wife, and my wife is so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice plug there.
Yeah.
Make sure we put that to a short.
Yeah, she probably won't even. But we cling together like so well.
Yeah.
But Bex, man, he is me to a T.
Yeah.
I just get so aggravated at it.
That's funny.
But kids, man.
Such is life.
Yep.
Yeah. So what does your wife do?
My wife does marketing at First United Bank. So she has a pretty awesome job. Nice sugar mama to
help you live your dreams.
help us stay. Sorry. But yeah, she does marketing. She's awesome. Literally everything that I am like wouldn't be here without her.
Yeah.
So she's phenomenal. And everybody that meets her knows that.
Yeah.
But she wears the big pants of the family.
You both work pretty hard.
We do, absolutely. But she's a very selfless, awesome person.
Yeah. Yeah. So how'd you get into jiu-jitsu?
Because of my boys, actually. Whenever I was up at OU, I'd always wanted to do jiu-jitsu, and I was interested in it, probably about 10 years before I ever started training. But being from Antlers, Oklahoma, there was nowhere to train. And so went to Southeastern and never got to the point where there was really anywhere to train. There was one guy in town to train, but I never really pulled the trigger. And then once I got to Norman, I was like, okay, I'm going to train. Well, then I put it off for 2 years. My oldest son was born. And I was like, well, I really want him to train, but I really don't want him to destroy me when he's older.
Yeah.
How could I discipline my son if he could be? So once he was born, he's a couple months old, I went and tried a first class and man, kicked myself that I didn't start sooner. And it just kind of overtook my life, My life basically became like my family, school, and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So, trained in Norman, moved here and started engineering. And there was one other guy in town that did jiu-jitsu, but they did night classes and I didn't really have the time for that. So
yeah,
I was like, I'll do some 6 a.m. stuff.
Yeah. And you were already a blue belt by then, right?
Yeah. I was a blue belt. And so like Jeremiah and some other people that I knew, was like, hey, they were interested in jiu-jitsu. I was like, I'm going to have this,
Yeah.
my house, and we'll just drill in the mornings. And it kind of took off, and you ended up coming because of Jeremiah. And, it got to the point where we were training 5 days a week, 6 a.m. And then, it just blew up from there.
Yeah.
But from there to Victory Life Academy to Empire Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's been amazing to see how fast the gym's grown. I mean, people just, man, it's chaos. It's chaos there in the evenings. I mean, you can't find a parking spot.
Yeah, and our parking lot's massive.
Yeah.
Poor Taco Casa, they catch our overflow, but I guarantee you we brought them a lot of business, so I hope.
Oh, yeah. No, they're selling much tacos because of the gym.
Absolutely. I always see people with Taco Casa trash in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty insane. I remember when we started, I was like, just want a little bit, like just enough to kind of sustain, and it's way exceeded our expectations.
Yeah.
I never expected it to be, where.
Yeah. I mean, we've had people come in from, gyms in the big cities, and they're just extremely impressed with the facilities.
Well, yeah, man. I think it just goes to show everybody's work ethic. You know, like nobody in here is just like halfway doing anything. Like we're studying the exact same things these big gyms are studying.
Yeah.
Like, and it shows when we go to tournaments. Like every tournament that we've gone to, we've had a winning record.
Yeah.
With maybe the exception of the very first kids tournament, where kids just got destroyed.
Yeah.
But like, dude, we've already won a team trophy at one of these tournaments where, it's 6 schools that pool together, and our one school came, and 1/3, in adult nogi, I believe. So yeah, it's pretty awesome to see our success.
Yeah. So what have been like some of your biggest challenges in starting the gym?
Some foreseen, like obviously financial. There's always financial risk, and thankfully, like with me working engineering and Taylor doing marketing, we had, saved up some money, so we were able to, take that leap and open the gym.
Yeah.
So that's most people's issue. Like if people have the skills to open a gym, they usually don't have the financial backing. And so we were able to fund ourselves, and people don't understand like how expensive it is, especially when you get people that like complain about membership prices. You're like, dude, you don't even understand my base bills are almost, $10,000 a month at times.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, financial was obviously a big one. Just getting people in the door and getting people to stay is a big one.
Yeah.
It's really hard, investing in people and then like them either not caring about it as much as you, or they do care about it and they potentially get injured, or they just kind of lose interest. And it's like, man, all that time that I invested into these people, it gets really hard not to get burnt out on that.
Yeah.
And then, lastly, just the drama. Like anything with people, there's going to be drama.
Yeah.
And so whether that's, people on the outside that just don't like us for some reason, or, people in the gym that have found offense with something.
Yeah.
Like for the most part, the drama's been pretty minimal, but yeah, drama's never.
Yeah. How do you navigate that?
Man, I just try to be a peacemaker.
Yeah.
Which naturally, like with my background, with my family and growing up and everything, I was always kind of like that peacemaker.
Yeah.
And so it's lended well into jiu-jitsu, because most jiu-jitsu coaches are pretty hot-headed. Like, if you make them mad, they're just going to try to fight you,
Yeah.
Everything I can to kind of mitigate conflict.
Yeah.
Sometimes to a fault.
Yeah. And you had 2 sisters, right? You have 2 sisters?
Yeah, 2 sisters.
Older, younger?
An older and a younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Peacemaker.
But yeah, it's a challenge. And thankfully, like, there hasn't been too much drama in the gym, like we've only had to kick out a few people, for reasons I don't really want to talk about on here.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, like we've had a really good community, really supportive.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'll be at the gym or I'll be at a grocery store and I'll hear people talking about Empire, and I'll even like hear my name dropped and people are like, oh yeah, I'm like that Kayl Bryant guy. I'm like, they don't even know it's me.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Seeing people around Durant talk about Empire and they don't even know I'm part of it.
Yeah.
At least the owner,
Yeah.
But I think we've had a really awesome impact on everybody.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. So whenever someone, we'll back up a little bit. So what would you say to someone that's like thinking about trying jiu-jitsu, but just kind of on the fence?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Everybody has different levels of, risk that they're willing to take. So like you, for example, you grew up wrestling, and so like grappling is not as foreign of a concept to you. So to go in and try out a class isn't as, daunting.
Yeah.
But you get the person that's never even done anything physical, and they're trying to maybe build some confidence or like varying degrees of the risk that people are willing to take. And the people that are like more on that severe side of they're really afraid of conflict, they're really afraid of physical activity, or in general, I would just, do some research and just come watch a class. You don't even have to be, you don't even have to be physically involved.
Yeah.
To see what it's like. And so many people are always surprised to see really what the environment is,
Yeah.
Everybody always thinks like we're just like bashing each other's face, like it's rough, tough. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I would say 90% of our gym, is some of the nicest.
Yes.
But just come watch a class and see what it's about. And then people are usually like, wow, like I expected it to be way different.
Yeah.
And then for the more active people, like just come try a class. Like, obviously everybody listens to, Joe Rogan, Jocko, like all of these different podcasts that have jiu-jitsu like integrated into it. And everybody understands the benefits of it.
Yeah.
But it's a hard thing to do. And a lot of times it scares people.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some of the benefits from your perspective? Like what have you experienced?
I could go on forever, but, first is confidence. Like, I think that's the biggest, like the ability to understand like that you can take care of yourself, if a physical altercation occurs. Now, some people will take that too far. Like you got to bring your guns, knives, multiple people.
Of course.
Crazy, but confidence is a big one. And then like, there's so many things that branch off that confidence. Like with that confidence, you have, increased athletic ability. So like your ability to do things for longer periods of time, you have increased like body, what's the word I'm looking for? Like people are more in shape.
Yeah, like better body image.
Yes. Yeah. So
Still waiting on that one.
Now, I mean, people like look better, they feel better.
Yeah.
They're healthier. So there's the health aspect to it. To go along with that, there's camaraderie. So building good community. I mean, you become one of my best friends in 3 years?
Yeah.
And it's literally, we really don't spend any other time other than
because
we don't have the time.
Yep.
We don't have time to just go to each other's house.
Yep.
And so, but yeah, man, confidence, health, camaraderie.
Yep.
There's other stuff.
Yeah. Community, camaraderie, community.
That's such a big one, dude. Like who likes CrossFit? Like, let's be honest. Nobody.
I doubt anyone that does CrossFit will listen to this.
Yeah, I know. This is for you, Mark, if you're listening. Like who really likes the aspect of CrossFit? Like, yes, I mean, it's beneficial, but why do people really love CrossFit?
Community. Yeah.
They want to do hard things with their friends.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about CrossFit. Like nobody is in the middle of doing, I'm not a CrossFit person, but nobody's in the middle of doing this intense workout where they can barely breathe. They're throwing up and this is so much fun. Like now they might enjoy the endorphins afterwards, but at the end of the day, it's community. It's doing hard things with people that you love. And it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I've always said jiu-jitsu is the new CrossFit.
Yeah. Well, especially in jiu-jitsu, like you're trusting people with your life to some degree. I mean, if you pass out, like you understand you're gonna wake up.
100%.
But sometimes someone, and it's interesting. I was talking to someone about this just the other day about the community aspect, the culture that you guys have built, because there's this perception that they're beating people up. Like they're trying to beat everybody up. And that's not the case. And there's a fine line though between, you are training to protect yourself, and sometimes that involves being offensive. And so you are trusting people with, your life and your limbs.
Yeah. And there's so many things I want to take out from what you just said, but like, the trust is so big.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're trusting that whenever you tap to a submission, if you don't know jiu-jitsu, for the people out there, like I apply something to make you give up. whether that's attacking a joint, whether that's attacking a choke that's going to cut off, blood supply and oxygen to your brain.
Yep.
And you're tapping, like saying that you give up, stop. And there's that trust to where when you tap, whenever you give up, I'm like, okay, I'm going to respect that and let go.
Yes.
And so whenever you're inherently trusting your body and or your life with these people, like it builds a pretty big.
Yeah.
And so like, that's such a big deal. And then like, you were talking about ego and stuff like that, or people being like, that might be the case when you're brand new. Like, some people come in there and they're pretty rough, but like at the end of the day, you'd be surprised how gentle like all these people are. And I tell people that pretty often, like, I think Henry Gracie says this all the time, and I actually can't stand Henry. He's so cliche, but he's like, if someone were to get into a fight with me, it'd be the best day of their life, because I'm not going to just bash them.
Yeah, it'd be the best fight they ever got in.
Yeah, like literally I just take them down and control them. Don't have to do any damage, and people just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny to see like the thoughts in people's minds, like whenever they think that they're capable.
Yeah.
And they come out and roll and you're
like, it is interesting, the different perception, like the difference between people's perception and their actual abilities.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And so, which I mean, even you, like when you started, you wrestled. So I guarantee you there was some confidence that came with that.
Yeah.
And then you started jiu-jitsu and you're like, wow, like so much more.
Getting destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was the same for me. Like when I started, I got really big into like bodybuilding type stuff, not to compete, but just because I had no other outlet.
Yeah.
And so I felt pretty confident in myself. I was like 205 at the time, was strong. And I thought, oh, just, I could handle myself in a fight.
Yeah.
And then I went and rolled, and one of my first instructors was just like this small, like 160 pound guy. Yeah. And he just like destroyed my arms, It's like, it was a quick awakening.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of hit on a good point, about like what we're doing in jiu-jitsu. We probably should have started with that. I mean, some people probably don't even know what jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can give a quick breakdown. I mean, basically like jiu-jitsu, if you aren't familiar, or grappling, submission grappling is kind of morphing into all one thing now. It's literally just controlling people, so like, if we take a step forward and look at full MMA or full, like an actual fight, you have striking mixed with grappling, mixed with biting and everything else. So that's like full fight,
Yeah. That'd be on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like you take a step back, go MMA, obviously MMA isn't like a full out fight. Like there's some constraints that protect, the fighters and stuff, but they can strike. And then they can look to grapple, and grappling is controlling, and they can mix the grappling with the striking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What jiu-jitsu is we just remove the striking portion. And the cool part about jiu-jitsu, it's really the only like martial art or, self-defense to where you can basically go 100% and walk away like without major injury.
Yeah.
As long as I tap fast, but, we're grappling. So I'm looking to basically like 4 things. I'm looking to take someone down. John Donner talks about this, take someone down, look to get past their legs. Once I'm past their legs, which leg's the strongest part of a person's body.
Yep.
I look to establish positional control, and then I look to put on some sort of submission, whether that's really 2 types of submissions. I've got some sort of joint lock where I'm attacking a joint, or I've got a choke.
Yeah.
Limiting blood supply to the brain. So sometimes suffocations, but yeah. But it's a little different, but yeah, so we're basically removing the striking and, going there. And it's actually like, this is the argument I tell people all the time, and they can agree with this or disagree with this, but like striking is relatively intuitive. Like if I hold up my hand and I tell anybody on the street to punch my hand, like
they can do that.
90% of people can hit my hand, like, with minimal effort. And so, but if I tell someone off the street, like, hey, I want you to get out of this position, or I want you to choke me with your legs.
Yeah.
People are going to have no idea.
Yep.
No. And so that's kind of always my argument for wrestling. But also like on the flip side, some people hate that because there is a lot of thought. There's a lot of complexity that goes into grappling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it can, like you said, either get out of a position or learn to control people in a certain position.
Oh yeah. And it's so hard. I mean, like if you look at how many different ways just a wrist moves, like there's so many different variables, and just one joint of my body. So then you put a different person, different reactions, different muscle strength, like everything, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So, which the same thing can be said about striking, but yeah, I think jiu-jitsu is a little more complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. And with striking, I mean, just from a self-defense perspective, why do you think jiu-jitsu is better than striking?
Just because like when people get put on the ground, they don't know what to do. Like I've always said that, you know, not to be completely biased towards grappling, but like if you take a pure striker and a pure grappler, and we have empirical evidence that this works with the old UFCs.
Yeah.
But like if you take a pure striker and a pure grappler, the grappler will win almost 99% of the time, unless a striker just gets a lucky shot.
Yep.
However, if you take a pure striker and give him some takedown defense, that pure striker will win the majority of the time because he understands how to keep it off the floor.
Yeah.
And that's the change we're seeing in modern fighting now, to where people are really good strikers and they're really good at, you know, takedown defense.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like if you just take a boxer and like, I would just say even like a good boxer and even just a blue belt of jiu-jitsu, like I would argue that the blue belt would win almost every single time.
Yeah.
Because like the ability to shell up, protect yourself from one or two hits and get into a takedown is fairly easy. People overreach so much when they're striking that they leave their hips completely accessible, you know?
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah. So some of your, or at least some of the most exciting classes are your kids' classes.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
So what are some of the craziest things the kids do?
Oh, like craziest stories that I've had?
Yeah. Yeah. I've got one specific. Yes, we'll have to go there first.
I don't know if that'll make people come.
And people will come to jiu-jitsu.
So, but
it hadn't happened in a long time. Or at our gym.
Actually, it has
Oh,
happened.
no.
So we'll get into that.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. Man, the kids are so crazy. But what's funny is like the kids are actually like completely understand what to do now. So like you haven't helped out with the kids class in a while.
It's been a long time.
But it's completely different.
Yeah.
Like they understand, like the kids that are there want to be there. The kids that didn't want to be there anymore, like they've kind of like fizzled out.
Yeah.
And so like they're like a well-run machine.
Mm-hmm.
But man, for those that don't know, at the gym, not every gym does this, but we do 2 different age groups. So we have a 4 through 6 year old group, and then we have a 7 through 12 year old group. And sometimes the 6-year-olds get moved up depending on their skill and how long they've been in the lower class. But the lower class is like herding cats, you know, 30 minutes long. We're doing just jiu-jitsu games.
Yeah.
Just to help them understand body.
Yeah, I heard a good phrase that they called play jitsu.
Yeah. But that's
pretty much it.
That's a great description.
Yeah.
You know, and that's basically what we're doing. Like we're putting them with the adults. They're like learning how to take the back or learning how to do a takedown or get out of the position. And we just make a game out of it. It's just,
yeah.
But man, it's crazy. You get every kid's ADHD nowadays. And like, you know, it's just keeping attention. You know, you really have to become an entertainer as a coach.
Yeah.
Keep these kids' attention and just have fun with them.
Yeah.
So there's that class, and that class is always crazy, man. I'll have kids. I have one kid, you know, doing a headstand. The other kid is waving to his mom. The other kid's eating a booger. You get these crazy kids just acting, you know, mental. And then like one kid will be good one day, and then the next day is like they skipped a nap or they fell asleep on the car.
Oh, what's the worst?
Dude, yeah. So it just depends. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
And then we have our older kids class, 7 through 12. Those kids are a lot more organized. But that's where most of my crazy stories come from. But like, yeah, man, dude. And what's crazy is those kids are killers, man. They're so good. Like I had a private today with 4 kids, and you know they range from 6 years old to 10 years old. And dude, they're all just so good. I was teaching them that swing single today, and like they're picking it up. They're great.
Yeah.
Hard stuff. Yeah. So, but
crazy stories.
I actually have a list on my phone.
You can't,
because I
you want to memorialize these stories.
Well, because like so many things happen, it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
What happened. But the craziest is like poop on the mats is without a doubt. So funny kid stories. So I wasn't there for the first time. I'll let you tell the story if you want.
Yeah. So we were at a previous location, and my daughter where I'm doing, I'm giving the instruction, and when you ask, when you open it up for questions, I mean, it's like, hey, does anyone have any questions about the move? It's like, can we go to Sonic after class? I mean, just the most random questions ever. And so, finally, I was just done with the questions, and my daughter Joanna raised her hand, and I'm like, Joanna, I'll talk to you after this is over. And I walk up to Joanna, and she's like, Daddy, I'm pretty sure that's poop. And I was like, I was not prepared. I was not prepared for that. I was like, whoa.
Well, the story you told me was initially you were like, no, that's not poop, and then.
Well, no, that's further on in the story. So anyway, so we was getting cleaned up, whatever. And, as we're leaving, getting in the truck, this is part of the story that you're probably remembering. I was like, well, Joe, how'd you know it was poop? I was like, no, you didn't. She's like, yeah, I smelled it. It's horrible.
Yeah. So, which, to be fair, for those listening, this was like our first month of teaching.
Yeah.
I had no idea what we were doing. Those classes were terrible. Which we had some good stuff, but
the quality of class, though, there's no correlation between the quality of the class and those situations.
Well, what's crazy, and obviously we're not saying names, but because that kid actually did it again.
Yeah.
Some digestive issues.
Yes.
Come to find out he didn't have underwear on, and it was just awful. And so I remember one time he asked me, he was like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? I was like, well, can you wait 5 minutes? He's like, no, I gotta go. And then that's when I figured out it was this kid. He was like, I have stomach issues.
Yeah.
Oh no. So, but yeah, that was a crazy story.
You learned to ask questions.
Yeah. But again, that hasn't happened since then. And that was an old gym.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. But when I had a kid, we were doing break falls. And if you don't know what break falls are, it's a way to absorb contact.
Yeah.
Allow yourself from, I know but to allow yourself from hitting the mat too hard or hitting the ground too hard. And we were doing break falls, and I kept seeing piles of sand on the mat. And if you don't know, if you don't have a clean mat, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Stepping on sand on the mat is the worst. And where's the sand coming from? And come to find out, a kid had gone and played in his backyard before class and stuffed his pockets full of sand.
Oh.
I could hold it in my hand, and went to the every time he'd do a break,
sand will pop out of his pocket.
Oh, dude, it's terrible. So there's that. This exact same kid did the same thing, but he had $5 worth of change. So every time he'd do something, coins would just fall out of the mat. So that kid's a trip. He's funny. I had another kid that he came into class, and I was seeing stuff on his hands, what is that? And I got closer, and his mom had given him Doritos before he started.
Oh, no.
He had literally soggy, nasty Dorito. It was all over his face, and he's getting Dorito dust on everything. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Go wash your hands.
Go wash your hands.
I had one kid, we use mouth guards in jiu-jitsu just to protect teeth and stuff, and he kept calling it a mouth goggle. I thought that was hilarious. He's like, Coach Kayl, can I go get my mouth goggle? I said, what?
I heard someone chip their tooth last night.
Yeah. That's her own fault. So, which for the people listening, hardly ever happens. But I got 3 more. This one's the worst. This is the worst memory I have. This one kid, right before he came to class, I guess his parents had given him this massive bag of purple gummies. And so we're finishing class, we're bowing out, and this kid is just standing there, and he doesn't look good.
Oh no.
He's kind of holding his stomach. But I was talking, and he was over to the side. And then all of a sudden he just goes, ugh, and just throws up just this purple gummy throw up. And he just, it was actually really frustrating because he made no effort to get off the mat. He's
just standing there.
He just bends over and starts throwing up. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Get off the mat. But yeah, that one was pretty crazy. I've got a video of it. Literally, it's
I don't want to see that.
I wouldn't show you, but it's literally he just bends over and just starts puking. And then last two, we have loaner gis that will let people use. And one time we'll take the loaner gis home and wash them. And I looked inside a pair of pants and there was, stuff in the pants. Yeah. And so we threw the pants away. So we're not like washing those and getting those back out.
Yeah.
That one was pretty crazy. And then the last one, I had one little girl that was going around literally kissing like everybody on the lips.
Oh,
it was in the Tosh class together. Girl, you got to quit kissing people. That's all I have in 2 years. That was for the right.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy though.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, kids are a trip.
Now, again, with that being said, 2 years, thousands of hours of classes, like,
yeah,
none of those things really happen on the regular, but you got to write them down on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I can't imagine the stories you're going to have, at the end of your career.
Dude, yeah. They're crazy. Some of them we can talk about off air.
Yeah. I don't know the best way to say this.
Yeah.
But the name Flow State.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little jealous about the name.
In what regard?
Just because, Flow's kind of been the thing that I've talked about for a long time. And then you go and start a clothing brand named Flow State.
To be fair, the name did not originate from myself.
No, I know. Yeah, Dustin and I actually had a long conversation about it the other day.
He gets all the credit for that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a funny story, like we started Flow State Apparel, but rewind a little bit, two and a half years ago, me and Tyler Walston, I had actually talked about
starting
up.
Yeah. And what is he doing these days?
I think he's just real busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've tried to get him back in, but yeah, he's just a busy guy. So, but which I miss him a lot for sure in the gym, which we go to church together. I still see a good system, but we went and started. We were wanting to start a clothing company. We thought it'd be really cool, but we could just never settle on a name.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was me or him. I thought it was me, but we came up with Endeavor, Jiu-Jitsu. But I was like, man, it was so long. It was hard. It just, wasn't really either something that it wasn't something that either of us was really passionate about. And so we were like, nah, and it just kind of died. But I had always had a desire to start up a clothing company or something. And Dustin had come to me and was like, yeah, man, I'm thinking about starting up a company too. And he's like, I'm trying to think of a name. And I was like, yeah, dude, like that's been something I've wanted to do forever. And, and he was like, yeah. And so I was like, well, if you ever need any help, just let me know. And so, that was it. And then finally he came to me and said, hey, dude, like I came up with a name, like Flow State. I was like, oh man, that's awesome. Like, I love that. And he was like, yeah, running through some things and all that. And so like after we had talked about this for about a month, on and off. And eventually I was like, hey, dude, like, I'll help you if you want help. But like, dude, if you want me to like partner with you, like, I would love to do that because this is something that I want to do as well.
Yeah.
He was like, and he thought about it for a bit. And he was like, dude, yeah, I think it'd be really good to have a partnership. And it's been nice because he's really good at his stuff and I'm really good at my stuff. We can kind of, merge.
Yeah.
And there's not much risk. It's not like we're buying a building or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, he came up with Flow State and it was super awesome. I think all of our gear looks really good.
Yeah.
Which he's designed basically all of the clothing.
Yeah.
And I've designed all of the jiu-jitsu stuff. Up until right now.
Yeah.
But, which like, I'm really happy with all of it.
Yeah. So how do you come up with the name Flow State? And then don't let me forget, I want to talk to you about a rash guard.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So his thing was like, the definition of flow state, which I'll butcher the definition, but like, it's basically a task that you can do endlessly without the, use of mind or thought, you can just do something out of pure enjoyment. You enter this flow state, And so I'm not sure how he came across it per se, but, he came across it and really liked the idea and he's really passionate about it. And, he's more passionate about it than I am.
Yeah.
Like, I just love the meaning behind it. I think it's really cool, And so, but yeah, I think the t-shirt you bought was the definition t-shirt or you bought the colors t-shirt.
How about the colors t-shirt? Had like a wave on the back.
Yeah. It's got I don't know if you picked up on it. It's white belt, blue belt, purple belt.
I did not pick up on that.
It's the 5 belt ranks.
Okay.
Yeah. But, the more you know.
I tell you what, never even crossed my mind. Of course, it was on the back of the shirt, right? So I'm not like looking at the back of the shirt while I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
I'll check it out tonight.
Yeah. So, but, one of our shirts has the definition on it.
Yeah.
But that's how he came up with it, and just kind of went on from
there. Yeah, it's a good name.
Which, I mean,
got some cool gear.
Flowing is integral in jiu-jitsu anyways.
Yeah.
There's like a company called Flow Hold and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you do jiu-jitsu, you're aware of flowing per se.
Yep.
And unless you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
But we thought it went really well with the jiu-jitsu brand, and
cool. Yeah, it's awesome. So are your rash guards going to be IBJJF approved?
So our first couple of drops won't be.
Okay.
Just because IBJJF has so much strict regulations, and they have to be ranked. And so like right now, while we have no money, it wouldn't be smart for us to have an inventory.
Yeah.
Ranked rash guards.
Yeah.
We couldn't sell them, and so it's a good question. But I mean, you do have a connection, so I could maybe make you a custom.
Maybe we could get a custom one for a tournament coming up here pretty quick.
For pants would be
cool. Yeah.
So, but which I made myself a custom.
Yeah.
I mean, we can make something.
All right, cool.
But dude, like with the way that we plan on doing our drops, like we're trying to figure out, like, there's obviously all these established companies and they can have these 20 different designs.
Yeah.
Like we can't afford to have, $40,000 of merchandise just sitting there. So we plan on dropping one design at a time.
Yeah.
So we'll use the profits that we make from that first drop to invest into the second drop. Like I'm not sure which rash guard design we're going to drop first. I'm thinking probably that black waves.
Yeah.
I think we get a ton of compliments on it, and I think it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And so
the with matching shorts and rash guard. Yeah.
So just buy that and do some kids and adult sizes and just go from there, and then just try to continually scale it and just pour everything back into the company. Because I mean, dude, there's some brands out there that started 5 years ago and they're already multi-million brands.
Yeah.
And so, but they put in so much effort.
Yeah. Do they make their own stuff, or is it all just ordered and made someplace else?
Yeah. I mean, the only companies that really make their own stuff is like Origin.
Yeah.
And maybe some bigger ones like Kings and stuff like that. But like all of these smaller brands, they get it manufactured.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But and that's what you have to do. I think that you can eventually build up to doing your own stuff. I mean, you're looking at salaries, benefits.
Yeah.
At that point, so
yep.
We're definitely not there.
Yeah. Cool.
But I mean, check out our Flow State apparel.
Yeah.
We have some really cool stuff coming, and if you're not into jiu-jitsu, like a lot of our clothing has nothing to do with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah. Where can they find you?
It's flowstateapparel.shop.
Cool.
Is our website, and you can follow us on Instagram at Flow State Apparel. We have Facebook too.
Yeah. And the website for Empire Durant?
Yeah. So Empire Durant we actually just changed our website. So I'm sorry.
Is it Empire Durant BJJ or Durant Empire?
So close. It's empirebjjdurant.com.
Okay.
Much easier than looking up the website. Just search, Jiu-Jitsu and Durant, or, Empire Jiu-Jitsu Durant.
Yeah.
Like there'll be a Google link that you can go right to our website.
Yeah. And you guys, we forgot to mention, I mean, you have more than just jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah. We have kickboxing too, which Zach is our kickboxing coach, and he does kids and adults, and he's absolutely phenomenal kickboxing. So he does great. He's been with us for over a year now, and he does, a phenomenal job.
Cool.
So, but if you want kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, just community and fellowship.
Yeah.
Empire.
So how do, some of the things we like to talk with people about are faith. So how does your faith play into your everyday life and what you do for a career?
Yeah, absolutely. I think and you obviously know this stuff, but there's so many correlations between jiu-jitsu and like faith. And, whenever we were being consistent with our fellowship and jiu-jitsu group, you went through a lot of those things. I mean, you're more than welcome to discuss those if you want, but man, like my initial goal with the gym, and it still is my goal, but was literally just to use the gym, like to love people well and just share the gospel with them.
Yeah.
God has done so much awesome work in my life and, healed me from so much baggage. And jiu-jitsu has been a massive portion of that too. And kind of the confidence I have and, who I am now. But literally just like providing a place to love people well.
Okay.
And I really like, all glory to God. I think that's why our gym is the way that it is, because like we have
Definitely.
so many strong believers in there that just love people well, you know. And so that was my goal with the gym in the first place. And I really feel like we've had a ton of fruit come from that. Like even my church now, the number of people that are members, you know, at the gym that come to my church now, you know.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And so a lot of these people are just, you know, getting loved by the gospel and, you know, having the gospel shared with them. And it's pretty awesome to see.
I mean,
Now, with that being said, we're not like force feeding people the gospel. I'm not just like, you know, cramming it down their throats, but, you know, like definitely that's our desire.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, one guy lives with you still, right? Or has he moved out yet?
No, he lives with us.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, I won't blast.
You got an adult child, a man child.
I won't blast his story out.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
Dude. So,
Yeah. Which is a testament to how you love people.
no, yeah, I try, man. I try, which I've been loved well a lot of my life. And so, but, yeah, we, that's just, you know, it's so easy to portray your faith through jiu-jitsu, you know, and just love people well with that. Even if it's not a thing where like, which I have so many friends at the gym that aren't believers, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's this thing where you're only allowed in the gym if you're a believer.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Obviously, like, you know, this is something that's impacted my life. And like I've seen the benefit, you know, like of what God has to offer, you know, and I want to tell people about it.
Yeah.
I want people to know.
Yeah. That's fun. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I 100% believe that. I mean, that's one of the primary reasons that you guys have been so successful is, I mean, it's just evident that like you love people well and people are drawn to you. They're just drawn to you guys because, I mean, they may not even understand it. I mean, they might even be Christians and not understand it, but I do believe that that's just because you love people well.
No, I would completely agree. And, you know, I mean, to God, all the glory for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just so cool. Like I have so many good friends at the gym that aren't believers, you know, and it's like, we just have like great conversations all the time. Like, you know, we'll talk about their beliefs, my beliefs, you know, and at the end of the day, we get to have fun and roll and, you know, it's just a good time. And so, but I think at the end of the day, like just loving people well shows, you know. So.
Yep. Cool. Well, I don't know where we're at on time, but you know, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
Glad to be here.
it's been an honor just kind of being part of the gym and, you know, seeing it start up, seeing it be extremely successful, watching it grow,
Yeah.
you know, watching you guys build community.
Yeah. Which I mean, like, shout out to you. Like, I know we're wrapping up, but like, you know, none of this would be here if it wasn't for you, you know? So like, you were the one that started, you know, the interest at Victory Life Academy, now Legacy.
Yeah.
That happened. And then you and I talked about opening the gym together. And then it just got to the point where it wasn't financially feasible to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm so thankful to you for what you've been in my life. So, yeah, I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Thank you, Kayl. Again, my name is Derek Hines, and I'm the managing partner here at Gaddis Premier Wealth Advisors, and we hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. Please like and subscribe.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Thanks.